What's going on, everybody? Mr. Loud over here. Just want to say before we get into the video, before we get into this quick little video tip, whatever you want to call it, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do so. Press the like button, that pushes the YouTube algorithm. And guys, I hope you enjoy this quick little video about how I clean floor mats. Oh yeah, I'm stuttering today. It's Monday. I'm exhausted. Everyone is, though, I guess. So when I go to a client's vehicle, I'm on the job today. When I go to a client's vehicle or a client's house or wherever they're at, and I see their vehicle, the first thing I always do is open up the car and I see whether there are floor mats in it, inside of it, or not. Now here's the deal. Floor mats don't really tell me a whole lot, but when I see a car with floor mats, it tells me that there's a good chance that the client put a little bit of extra thought or precaution into making sure that the floors are semi or somewhat protected. So what happens, especially in this case where it's a young adult, I believe she's in college, she has her vehicle and she uses the vehicle. Most young adults use their vehicle. They're not just doing whatever, or they're not just going nowhere. Usually they got friends, family, parties, whatever they do, whatever in life they're involved with. There's a lot of transportation going on. That car is probably used more often than not. And so in a case like that, when I see floor mats, rubber floor mats, I can tell that the customer likes their car to be taken care of to a certain extent. It's kind of common knowledge to know that when there are rubber floor mats in a vehicle, that client or the person, the driver, the owner, takes a little bit of extra precaution into their videos, or not their videos, wow, their vehicle, and I'm very thankful for that. So first thing I do is I open the car, and if there are rubber floor mats, I pull out the rubber floor mats. If there are not, I leave just the regular fabric cloth floor mats inside of the vehicle. But if there are rubber floor mats, like in this case, first thing I always do is take them out and I kind of inspect the vehicle with the floor mats outside of the vehicle. In this case, with the floor mats taken out, it's much easier to assess. It looks much better, and I already feel much more comfortable with the job or the detail. But with rubber floor mats, that means that they still need to be cleaned. You cannot really vacuum these up. This is something where you're gonna have to apply some type of chemical to. If it's not that bad, you can just use a car wash soap with your foam cannon. If it is kind of tricky, you can go ahead and you can put your degreaser on the actual floor mat, apply degreaser, spray the degreaser, floor mat cleaner, rejuvenator, whatever you use, onto the floor mat, and then you would agitate it. And I'm going to show you kind of how I do that. So quite simply, you could go ahead and spray down the floor mat first with your pressure washer hose. You can hear probably in the background I got my pressure washer going on as it keeps on making that sound, whatever it is. I'm not good with imitating sounds or whatever. James O'Brien, you're probably going to comment on this video saying, what in the world, that pressure washer at it again. Sorry, man, so sorry. Sorry to all my subscribers and all my viewers and all that stuff. So, but I simply have super clean diluted 1-to-1 in here. I keep it standard. That's what I use pretty much for everything. I still love Formula 88. I still love a ton of other degreasers. This one's just a little bit easier to get a hold of. But what I do is I go ahead and take my degreaser and I will spray all the floor mats down. Now in this case, I'm just gonna go ahead and spray one down for the video's sake. But I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but the floor mat is starting to turn brown. So like how a tire would look if you were spraying degreaser onto the tire, it starts to brown. The dirt reacts to the chemical and begins to brown. That's what's happening here, and you see that happening. Now, normally I let it sit for about a couple minutes. I spray down all the floor mats with degreaser first, then I would go around, foam the car up, then I would even foam the floor mats if need be. But for this case, it's not necessary because it's not really bad. Pretty much all I need to do is just go ahead and pressure wash it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and you'll hear my annoying pressure washer at work. So right there, I removed probably close to 90% of the dirt that was on the floor mat. But what I want, oh, that pressure washer is so aggravating, guys. I'm so sorry, but that's my world. That's the world I live with. When you're working with electric pressure washers, you hear that all the time, and just makes you want to change your line of work, I guess. I don't know. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do a second pass or application of degreaser, and I am simply looking to see, is there any more browning that happens? Now, this floor mat was not cleaned by any means. It definitely needed to be cleaned. But we're gonna see, is there any more browning? Now, I can see a bit of browning coming up. Hopefully you can see on the camera. If not, so sorry. Now, I'm gonna take this brush that I've been working with. Now, this brush is interesting. I was going to do a video on it, and I haven't yet. I filmed it, and then I just decided not to post it because I didn't like the video. I'm still kind of working with this thing. I'm still trying to get to learn it a little bit, but it's a cool little Scotch-Brite little scrubber. It's for like dishes and stuff like that. You get it at Walmart for like $3. It works pretty cool. It's got a reservoir, and you can put degreaser or whatever you want. But I just use it to scrub tires and wheels, not wheels, but tires, floor mats, and all that stuff. But I'm gonna simply now agitate, and I'm trying to look to see, is there any browning that comes up? I'm gonna go along with the groups. Now, as you can see, not much brown is coming up. So this tells me that the floor mat was pretty good to begin with. Now I can go ahead and take another softer brush, which was dirty to begin with, but just to make sure that I get every crease, every crevice. These little fibers are more pliable than the other brush, so it can get into more corners. And then we spray. So, you know, this is one of the parts of detailing that really doesn't need much thought involved into it. Some people overthink it. You know, of course, now if this is a really, really old floor mat, and you know, when you scrub it, you notice it kind of getting a bit dingy, you want to go ahead and rejuvenate it. You can apply dressing. You can use like the McKee's 37 floor mat cleaner and rejuvenator. I think Masterson's even has a product for that. You know, there's a few different things that you can do. But you know, for a case like this, I don't need to do any more. It is clean. All that really needs to happen now is it needs to dry. So quite simple, guys. Have a stiff bristle brush that you can go ahead and scrub any aggressive spots. Have a soft bristle brush that you can use to get in any corners that the stiff bristle brush cannot get into, something that's more pliable, something that is more, it kind of moves and contours to whatever pressure points are going on. And just have a basic cleaner, a degreaser, spray 9 will work, Purple Power would work, Formula 88, Super Clean. If you want to use Meguiar Super Degreaser, all-purpose cleaner, really any of those work. You don't need to overthink it. Just make sure that you look at what you're working at. If it's a older, very old floor mat and you're worried about pulling off the dye from the floor mat, be a little less aggressive. Don't have the highest expectations. Just be appropriate and put in proper precautions. But guys, I just want to kind of show you a quick little video about how I assess floor mats. There's so much more other ways to do it, but this is the standard way that I do it 9 times out of 10. So if you like this video and you like these detailing tricks and tips, feel free to subscribe to the channel, whack that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and thank you so much, guys. Love you all. Take care.